Hi everybody, welcome back to Tight Ship Mama. I'm Gina, and what you're about to see is the recording from the live Zoom that I had today. So today's topic was overwhelm, and tomorrow's topic is going to be time management. So if you didn't get a chance to stop by today, definitely sign up tomorrow. Click the link in the description box below, and I will email you the Zoom link so you can participate tomorrow for time management. What this recording is, it's a sneak peek into the course that I teach called Pruning to Prosper, growing into the woman that God calls you to be. So it's an 8-week course that I run, and I don't cover overwhelm or time management. So these are kind of like extra little videos for you guys to watch so you have a better idea of what you would be committing to. So it's an 8-week course, and I limit it to 8 women per group because there's one-to-one coaching every week. So that way each woman has her moment to shine. But in the course itself, I'm going to cover the topics. Week 1, who are you called to be? Week 2, declutter. Week 3, wealth / like budget. We do a grocery budget. Week 4, we discuss meal planning. Week 5, surrender. Week 6, perfectionism. Week 7, sharing your gifts. And week 8, finding your tribe. So enjoy the video that's to come. If you like what you see, then sign up for Pruning to Prosper when those doors open late September. Take care.
Okay, guys, thank you for coming today to my sneak peek to Pruning to Prosper. Pruning to Prosper is my 8-week course that I offer where I help women declutter the stuff, whether it be physical clutter, mental clutter, or debt standing between them and the woman God is calling them to be. So what you're going to witness today is what we do each week in Pruning to Prosper. We begin with a short prayer. We have a Bible verse with a theme, a little talk about it and discussion. And then in the end, I pull somebody up for one-to-one coaching. And so I limit the course to 8 women and 8 weeks so that everybody gets a chance to have their one-to-one coaching. And So the 2 topics we're going to cover today is overwhelm, and tomorrow, if you want to join us again at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the topic is going to be time management. So these 2 topics are not covered in my course. So you'll get 8 weeks of something totally different if you decide to join. So let's begin with a short little prayer in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for these beautiful friends of mine that have joined me in this sneak peek. May they get something out of today's talk. May we be here for one another, share wholeheartedly, be vulnerable, and know that you have called each of us here for a reason and for your divine purpose. We all have something to offer one another. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Okay, so today's topic is overwhelm. And I was going through the Bible thinking, like, okay, what are some good examples of overwhelm or who deals with it well or whatever? And I thought there isn't anyone more overwhelmed in the Bible to me than good old Job. So I'm going to begin this conversation today with the book of Job, chapter 1, just verses 1 to 12. And then we are going to, I don't know if you guys got the PDF that I sent in the email, but there's a PDF and it's going to be 10 ways that we can combat overwhelm. We're not going to do all 10. I think I picked about 5 to do. And then, but you guys can do the others on your own time if you want. So I'm just going to read real quick this verses 1 to 12. In the land of Uz, there was a blameless and upright man named Job who feared God and avoided evil. 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him, and he had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a great number of work animals, so that he was greater than any of the men of the East. His sons used to take turns giving feasts, sending invitations to their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And when each feast had run its course, Job would send for them and sanctify them, rising early and offering holocaust for every one of them. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and blasphemed God in their hearts." This Job did habitually. One day, when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, Satan also came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, "Whence do you come?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "From roaming the earth and patrolling it." And the Lord said to Satan, "Have you noticed my servant Job, and that there is no one on earth like him, blameless and upright, fearing God and avoiding evil?" But Satan answered the Lord and said, "Is it for nothing that Job is God-fearing? Have you not surrounded him and his family and all that he has with your protection? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his livestock are spread over the land. But now put forth your hand and touch anything that he has, and surely he will blaspheme you and your face." And the Lord said to Satan, "Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only do not lay a hand upon his person." So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So pretty much God and Satan have struck up a deal with, hey, Job loves you and honors you because you have blessed him so well. So let's see what happens if he's not quite so blessed. So I'm not going to read the entire book of Job, but I will go on to tell you, this is what this poor man had to endure. The Sabians, who were a tribe of wandering raiders from the south, attacked and stole all the donkeys and killed all the servants except for one. Lightning struck the sheep and shepherds, killing all but one. 3 bands of Chaldean raiders, which is a tribe from the north, attacked and killed all the servants but one, and they took away the camels. His children were having a feast when a storm blew the house down and killed them all. Job breaks out in sores all over his body. His friends are convinced he is a massive sinner because God is just. They claim God isn't punishing him enough. His family forsakes him. Guests in his home have forgotten him. Servant women treat him like a stranger. His servants won't even answer him. His wife can't stand the smell of his breath. That one cracks me up. His own brothers won't come near him. Children laugh when they see him. His closest friends look at him with disgust. Loved ones turned against him. His skin hangs loose on his bones, and he barely escapes with his life. Do we agree that that's an overwhelming situation?
Rough.
Like, it's almost comical. It is like one thing after another for this poor man, right? So it's obviously an extreme case of being overwhelmed. So what I want to ask of you guys is, do you want to share anything that currently is on your heart that you feel is overwhelming? No matter how big or how small.
I will.
Okay, and go ahead.
I think a lot of things are overwhelming right now. I think a lot of things are coming at us at the same time, whereas in the past, at least in my life, things come at you kind of one to one and then it subsides and then something else comes at. But I feel like right now I have school stuff coming at me as far as curriculum, because I'm in the public schools. Fighting things in the school district is coming at us. As Crystal said, we have these mandates in our state that we disagree with, and some people don't disagree with, which is fine. I feel like there should be, freedom, personal choice. I feel like that's coming at us. I feel like my relationship with my husband is coming at me because we don't agree on some things and we're trying to raise our kids. And I feel like health situations are coming at us. I feel a sense of overwhelm, and I try not to call it that because a part of me feels like overwhelm is a choice as well, because you can compartmentalize some things, but you also have to just take on what's coming at you. And so I just feel like that all of that coming at me at once, and there's probably some more things that I didn't think about, but is very daunting sometimes. And if I really start to think about it, my parents are getting older, they have health issues, and some not really, but just all this stuff, thinking about they're going to pass away at some point because they're in their 70s. And you know what I mean? It's just all this stuff at once is, to me, extremely overwhelming sometimes.
It's a lot.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else feeling a little overwhelmed?
I have some of that, what you talked about with regard to the kids and freedom of choices. I don't have as much of an issue with the mask as I do with the vaccine personally, and the forcing of it. And I have 5 kids, and I have one in college, one on the college next year. So it's pretty much for those two, because our kids are in Catholic school, and right now the grade schools are not. So I feel like we have some time for them.
Right.
And by the time they have to reach those decisions, maybe I'll feel more comfortable, about a vaccine. Anyway, I'm also overwhelmed with my personal to do and my work to do. So I'm just trying to chomp at bits and pieces of each and create systems and get myself kind of dug out of the pit that I found myself in, from starting with some personal development reading book that Tina gave me, which is pretty great book. So Atomic Habits. And so I'm trying to start there to just dig myself out of a hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing, girls. Tina, anything?
I echo everyone here. I am overwhelmed with the back to school requirements and what's expected of me. And at the beginning of the new year, I just read in my journal back to January 1st, because every quarter I do an assessment, personal, in my journal of how my goals are coming along. And it's a new quarter now. And going back to January 1st, I was overwhelmed by the same things I'm overwhelmed now. I feel like I haven't made any progress. All with the back to school. My son just started high school, so there's a whole new 80-page parent handbook that has to be read. There's open house videos that need to be watched. There's his online grading system that has to be learned. I'm repeating much of that for my son in middle school. I'm trying to launch a business. I'm trying to hold down the fort at home and support my husband, who's very stressed out right now. We have a lot of doctor's appointments that are happening right now. My son lost his glasses, so now I have to figure out insurance, or I don't know what we're going to do. But I just echo both Lori and Jen, that everything's coming at me all at once. And I keep saying, once I get through this week, next week I can breathe. Just hold tight and get through this week. But I said that last week, and I'm overwhelmed again this week. So I'm very happy to be on the Zoom with you today.
Agreed.
Crystal, anything that you're finding overwhelming today or this week? Oh, she's on mute. Unmute, please. She's on mute. Okay. Well, Crystal, you're welcome to chime in. There you go.
Okay, I think I got it. Sorry, it's a mess over here. Overwhelming. I think just everyday life. My husband works for a company, and he is not going to be traveling at all in the foreseeable future. And he's in sales, so if you're not out visiting customers, you're not making the sales, right? So it makes it a little bit harder. And with school, and I've got a college kid that's trying to go back to college in Florida, but can't quite get there. And, it's just a lot of stuff. And I didn't make it to Bible study this week. So that overwhelmed me more than anything, probably.
Is that something that you rely on to keep yourself in check and calm?
Every week, those girls are amazing in that community of just like-minded, people.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps you get through the week.
Yeah. I know that's where I didn't meet Tina and Lori in prayer group, but I used to host a prayer group in my home once a month, and they both would come. And I think that's a lot of why I started this course and stuff, is because I miss that. I miss, just talking to real women about God, and we're not perfect. We're not, just in the trenches together.
Yes, we are, for sure. And it helps to know that you're not alone, right? And
yeah,
when, a lot of people aren't comfortable stepping out and talking about real life things, they want everyone to see what's on Instagram or Facebook, and everything is so great. And it's like, but that's how you build friendships and relationships, are in the tough times and the difficult things that are going on in your life, just helping each other out and understanding or listening.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. All right, guys. Cool. Well, thank you. I'm going to try to screen share this. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Crystal, if you want, I can email this to you afterwards, or if Jen emailed it to you. I guess Jen must have emailed it, right?
I think I forwarded. Yeah, it should be in there, right? Because I forwarded your email.
This is just a little PDF that I made up of 10 things to do that come from the Bible when you're feeling overwhelmed. And we're not going to go through all of them, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the passage, and I'm going to ask you guys to try to guess what's the action that the person has taken in this Bible passage to help combat their overwhelm. Okay? So, first one I'm going to do is actually the second one on your list, which is Matthew 19, chapters 20 to 22. And I have a Bible, so you don't need a Bible out if you don't have one right here. So this is when Jesus is speaking with the rich young man, and the young man is asking him, what else can I do to enter into life? And, he'd keep the commandments and that sort of thing. So verse 20 to 22, the young man said to him, all of these I have observed. What do I still lack? Jesus said to him, if you wish to be perfect, go, sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me. When the young man heard this statement, he went away sad, for he had many possessions. Hint, hint, I'm a declutter coach.
Yeah, get rid of stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to write on that little PDF, this one, I think more than anything, when a new client comes to me, the thing I hear more than anything is, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know where to begin. I'm just overwhelmed. And I just think the best place to begin is with decluttering what we can declutter. Get rid of the physical stuff that is overwhelming you. If it's too much laundry, you need less clothing. If it's meal planning, you need less ideas. Like I always say, if you want to know exactly how much you spend in the grocery store, the easiest thing to do is have like 3 meals and repeat, and you're going to know exactly what you spend in the grocery store. So less stuff, less ideas, less going on in your brain is going to help you combat the overwhelmed feeling that you may be experiencing. But definitely declutter what you can declutter in your house. So that's my little action item for that, Matthew, is declutter.
Having a garage sale tomorrow, Crystal and I. Totally last minute. We decided on it this week to get crap out.
Nice. Okay. The second.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a win-win. Like you free up stuff, you make some money, it's all good. Okay. The next one I'm going to talk about is actually the third one on your list. It's Luke chapter 1, verse 56. And this is where Elizabeth is with child, and her child that she's pregnant with is John the Baptist. But it says, when the angel Gabriel had come to the Blessed Mother and, asked if she would be the mother of Jesus, he said, oh, by the way, Elizabeth is with child, even though in her old age. And, so it makes it sound as if Elizabeth had been trying to have a baby. She was probably old to be having a child. And
Just kidding.
What's that?
I said, watch it. Just kidding.
I know. I think I was older than you when I had my last one.
I don't know.
But sometimes even like these little blessings that we call children, it can be overwhelming, So even Elizabeth may have been overwhelmed. So this is the line that I want you to try to think of the action item that Elizabeth took. Mary remained with her about 3 months and then returned home. So remember, the Blessed Mother went to stay with Elizabeth the last 3 months of Elizabeth's pregnancy. So the Blessed Mother herself is pregnant, and then she went to Elizabeth. So what's the action that this overwhelmed, pregnant, older mama took? Yes, Lori.
Get help.
Get help.
Okay.
Get help. So wherever you can, and in fact, Jen, in my beta group of Pruning to Prosper, 2 women hired housekeepers.
Oh, good for them.
Tina was one of them.
Oh, you're so good. Smart. Yeah. I need to do it someday.
And I used to teach women how to zone clean and do that sort of thing. But now I work with them in their budget to get them to hire help, because
I just like it so much. That's what I want to do. Because I don't care if it's zoned. I don't care if it's whatever. I hate it.
Yeah. And I speak openly that I go to a therapist, and one of the days that I was speaking with her, she said to me, "Where are you frugal with yourself?" And I was like, "I'm just so frugal," because the building of my husband's business has been so long and hard, and we've had to be frugal for so many years, but now we don't need to be as frugal. And she said, "So where can you let go of that?" And I said, "I would love a cleaning lady." And she said,
"Whoa, sorry.
That's your homework for today. You need to hire a cleaning lady." And I said, "Okay." I'll tell you, I love her. Like and she came on Monday, and she doesn't clean my house, but she just does the parts that I absolutely put off all the time. Like, I have a huge kitchen floor that never looks clean. So I would really only do it like once or twice a year, which I know sounds disgusting out loud, but I just hated it that much. And I would think about it for weeks, to the point that I was so stressed out. And I was like, I'm tired of living like this. So I got help. So she does the kitchen. She does my bedroom, my bathroom, the foyer, and the powder room. And she came on Monday. And while she does her rooms, I do other rooms. And it's kind of like she's my accountability partner, and she doesn't do it. Like, so I'm just like, okay, great. When you come, great. Okay. So yeah, so get help, whether that be cleaning help, whether that be your mother-in-law, your neighbor, a friend. Like, I am so bad about asking for help because I feel like I should be able to do it all, but that's not realistic. We can't. So if there's an area of your life that you feel is overwhelming, ask for help. Even if it's a little thing, like I've been trading with my friend and neighbor, picking up the kids. And I said to her one day, between school, cross country, and scouts, I said, we were at the same place 4 times today. Why did we do that to each other? So now we're coordinating rides constantly. And like, it's not that I can't get to my son, but having her bring him home once in a while, it just keeps it calm here. And it's like I can either rush like mad to get him, or I can ask for help, and like everything kind of stays calm. So
keeps it calm. I like that.
Yeah. The way I see that is, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody minds, like, honestly, if it's an even trade of help, I don't think people mind. It's when, if it gets out of hand and someone's taking advantage, that's a different story. But
yeah.
And that's actually Matthew's 14, 22 to 23. We're not going to cover that today, but that one's about like setting boundaries. That's another way to combat being overwhelmed. Okay. So let's move on to.
Oh, it was Ark.
Yeah.
I see it.
Okay.
Yep.
So can you read the thing? It says, "Here he comes. Give me half a dozen." And the birds are like plucking feathers, and he puts it in his mouth like he was eating one. And Noah's like, animal pranks on the ark. So that's for this next one. Just a little Bible humor for this next one that we're going to read. Okay, so this one comes from, this is another overwhelmed person in the Bible that is just so funny to me. It's not funny, but it is. Okay. Genesis chapter 6, verses 14 to 22. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Put various compartments in it and cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you shall build it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make an opening for daylight in the ark and finish the ark a cubit above it. Put an entrance in the side of the ark, which you shall make with bottom, second, and third decks. I, on my part, am about to bring the flood on the earth to destroy everywhere all creatures in which there is breath of life. Everything on earth shall perish. But with you, I will establish my covenant. You and your sons, your wife and your sons' wives shall go into the ark. Of all other living creatures, you shall bring 2 into the ark, 1 male and 1 female, that you may keep them alive with you. Of all kinds of birds, of all kinds of beasts, and of all kinds of creeping things, 2 of each shall come into the ark with you to stay alive. Moreover, you are to provide yourself with all the food that is to be eaten and store it away, that it may serve as provisions for you and for them. This Noah did. He carried out all the commands that God gave him. Holy Hannah. Like this one cracks me up because it's like, okay, you're going to build the ark. Okay. There's no Home Depot. It's like you're logging, you're doing the planer, but there's no planer. So you're like doing it by hand. And like the pitch is the sap that he has to like put in all those little in between the planks. It's the size of like a football field. People are laughing at him. He's like being mocked. Then God's like, okay, then I want you to go get 2 of every animal. So 1, how the heck do you do that? And 2, how do you determine what's a boy, what's a girl? But he's got to figure that out. Then he's supposed to have enough food on board to feed them all. So this is like the ultimate meal planning for poor Noah is, okay, how do I feed every creature that God has ever created and keep them alive? So to say he is overwhelmed, I think is an understatement. But what's the action he takes?
Planning.
Hmm?
Planning?
Not planning. The last line is, this Noah did. He carried out all the commands that God gave him.
Action? Doing?
He got to work. He just got to work. So sometimes when we're feeling overwhelmed, the best thing we can do is just start. Like just get to work on whatever is the most pressing thing right in front of us. And sometimes, like I've heard before, the opposite of stress is action, or worry is action. Is that true? Like, have you guys heard that?
Yep.
And I think like that was a lot of my stress when I was a young mom, and with the money being so tight because I didn't work. And I just felt like if I could just bring in something, it's like, it's my action, that would help me feel better. But my husband was always like, I'm not working this hard for you to work nights and weekends, and for what? For you to make minimum wage at Marshall's, like I just wanted a bozo job that I didn't have to have responsibility.
Yeah.
And I could leave it at the job. Like I didn't want things to follow up on, you know what I mean? But I think that was just my inside just saying like, just do something, get to work.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that one. Let me see. That was number 3. Okay. So the 4th one, does anyone have anything that they want to chime in about like when they got to work and it made them feel less overwhelmed?
Just that my favorite saying that I tell all new people who start my eating plan, once begun, halfway done. That's like my favorite motto. People get so much out of it. And to piggyback off of you, I'm feeling the itch to work just to help alleviate financial burden on my husband.
Yeah.
And my husband always talks me out of it. And he always says the best thing you can do to help me is for you to do 3 things: for you to be calm, for you to run this house like a tight ship, because that makes everyone happy when the house is in order and there's food, and for you to be happy. When you're not yelling at us, we can think and perform so much better. So just be calm, keep the house in order, and be happy. And when he says be happy, he really means it. Like, go get your nails done, get a housekeeper. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I could not justify getting a housekeeper. My husband, when she was here yesterday, invited her upstairs to talk about things he wanted her to do. Like, when he says be happy, he really means it. So, but my favorite motto and my favorite saying is once begun, halfway done.
Yeah. I remember going to register for grad school, and there was a sign above the counselor's desk, and it said, if you had started when you first thought about it, imagine where you would be today. And that never left me. And I just think like, okay, just begin.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. Take the next.
Because time will pass anyway. The time will pass anyway. And it will slip through your fingers. And before you know it, you'll have accomplished a great deal in little steps over time.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So the fourth one I want to talk about is Proverbs 15, verse 4. And Jen kind of already touched on this a little bit. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse one crushes the spirit. How are you talking to yourself? You know, if you say out loud, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so busy. The kids are so annoying. Oh my gosh. I forget the number. Another friend of mine who is she's so cool too. I want to say she's a scrappy athlete or something on Instagram. I'm going to put her thing there. Do you follow her, Jen?
I do.
Yeah. She's so cool.
Yeah.
But I did one of her Zoom classes one night. And so she had said, she has the statistic that I don't remember, but when you say things out loud, it's like X% more powerful than just thinking it. So you can use this against you, or you can use it in your favor. So I literally, like, Lori laughs at me. I literally walk around. I'm like, money comes easily to me. Like, and whatever I want to happen, I just say it out loud. Like, oh, my kids are darlings, or, oh, you know, whatever is like stressing me out, I say the opposite out loud, you know? So that,
because what you put out there, it becomes.
It does. So
Let me just add, when you say something out loud, you're also hearing it with your ears, which reprograms your subconscious. And when you reprogram your subconscious, you will have automatic actions that support whatever it is that you want to bring about in your life. So it's a big circle. Say it out loud, you hear it, you reprogram your subconscious, you put it out there, and it's a big cycle.
the Lord spoke the world into existence. That's how powerful it is. You can speak your world into existence. I think, Jen, didn't you have a recent podcast that touched on this? I feel like you did.
Yep. I said, I forget what it was called, but who do you think you are?
Yes. I loved that episode. So I will have all that stuff in the description box if you guys want to check out Jen's podcast. So yes, be careful how you speak to yourselves. Be careful how you speak to your children, your husband. You know, try to have everything come out positive. Like, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and first thing in the morning, my husband's always like, how do you feel? And I used to give him the litany of all the things that hurt. And now I'm like, I'm good. I'm excited. Because if I focus on like all the things that hurt, then that's what I'm going to have in my head. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh, these feet hurt so bad, you know? Or like when you're running a race, like Jen, you've done Ironman, you know, like what you're saying to yourself in the middle of the race really affects how you're going to do.
Absolutely.
You know, my kids are doing cross country right now, and it's so interesting to me to see these little kids. And sometimes they're like, I'm so tired. I can't breathe. Of course you're tired, because you just said it out loud that you're tired. Like, so I always, as I'm cheering, I try to say to kids, like, looking strong. You're looking so strong. You're looking so good. You know, because I want them to get that in their head, you know, the positive. All right, cool. So that was number 4. Careful how you speak to yourselves.
I like it.
Number 5 is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 and 20. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God, and that you are not your own? For you have been purchased at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body. So what do you guys think this one could mean? Lori? Any
Taking care of yourself.
self-care? Yep. My husband has an aunt that has 8 children.
Whoa.
And they're all grown now. Like I'm old enough. I could be her child. Like, so, his cousins. And so you can kind of see like all 8 of them are grown, and you can see that they've all turned out really well. And they're just a really neat family. And she is so fun and spunky, and like, she's very devout and holy, but she's also like really fun. You know what I mean? And so I asked her one day, I said, like, what do you do for discipline? Like when your kids were little, what do you do? Because I was overwhelmed a lot I had some tough toddlers. And she goes, you mean, do I spank them? Well, yeah, did you spank them? And she goes, the number one thing that you can do for discipline is get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And she said, that's the best thing you can do for disciplining your children. Because if you are rested, and you guys know this, like when we're rested, it is like, okay, guys, and you can make cleanup fun. But when you are tired, it's like, clean up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So take care of yourselves. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow in the time management. But one of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow is essentialist versus non-essentialist. And a non-essentialist will say, I just got to plow through. I got to stay up late so I can get this done. Whereas an essentialist will know, if I get to bed, I'm going to have a much better day tomorrow. So take care of yourselves, eat right, exercise. I always say, like, what's good for your dog is what's good for you. Like, get outside, play ball, eat well, sleep in the sunshine, like, that's all the things to take care of yourself. And, we are hosting the Holy Spirit within us. So treat your body like the temple that it is. There's a Jimmy Buffett line in one of his songs, like, you treat your body like a temple. I treat mine like a tent, or something like that.
I love Jimmy Buffett.
I know. All right. So here's the last one I'm going to cover today. This is, okay, we're going to do Romans 12, verse 2. Do not conform yourself to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God and what is good and pleasing and perfect. So what's the action for that one?
Be transformed by what?
Do not conform yourself to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and pleasing and perfect.
Be yourself.
That's part of what I'm getting at. There's no wrong answers. It's just what Gina had written down on the paper. Be yourself. That I love that. Discern.
Pray.
Who said that?
Pray. Me.
Yeah, pray. So that this is the part that I really liked, was that you may discern what is the will of God.
So decide your priority.
Yes. So when I am really overwhelmed, like, and I know, like, I've talked about this with Lori before, but do you ever have a day off, like with no kids, and there's so much that you want to get done that you're almost overwhelmed to the point of not doing anything? Because it's like,
That's
you're
me every day all week this week.
is it?
Yeah.
No, Gina. It really is. And it's causing a deep depression because I'm paralyzed by overwhelm. And when your amygdala is activated, that's the lizard brain in your head that is affected when you're under stress or you have too many things to do. You do three things when that lizard brain, that amygdala, is activated. You freeze, you fight, or you flight. So you either run away, you'll either fight, I'll yell at all my family and kids, or you'll freeze and do nothing. And I've been stuck in inactivity all week with things building and building and building because the things don't go away.
Right.
The things that you need to do don't go away, but I've been frozen by inactivity because I don't know what to do first. So I need to hear this today.
Okay. So that you may discern what is the will of God. When I'm overwhelmed, I simply say, God, prioritize my day. Show me what I absolutely need to get done today. What do you want me to do today? And it comes to you. And my husband's always really good about this when I get overwhelmed. He's like, Gina, what do you absolutely have to do? Like, let's say we were having a party that night, company coming for dinner. I'm like, I don't know. I got to like do all the things. He's like, no, take it down to like the bare basics. What do you need to do? And I'm like, I got to get a shower. And he's like, okay, take a shower. And I was like, well, then I got to do this. And, you know, but sometimes like it does. And again, this is kind of tapping into tomorrow's talk a little bit, but it doesn't always have to be exactly how you wanted it. So let's say if I was having people for dinner that night and I wanted to make, you know, something really extravagant. We don't have to have something. We need to eat. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You know what I mean? So like take it back a notch and just say like, okay, we need to eat, but it doesn't have to be fancy. So like, what can I do to alleviate can I go purchase all the side dishes, you know, like prepare? Yeah, it's going to cost you a fortune, but it's probably going to save you a ton of time and a lot of stress so that you're only focused on the main part. Like there's a million ways to do this. That's just one example of if you're hosting a party or something like that. But if it's just your regular day, like I always just say to people, like, do a load of towels, throw in a load of towels because it's easy. They're easy to fold. It's easy to put away and you're going to feel accomplished. Or make your bed. That's it. You know,
Make your bed.
Make your bed. Like just start with the littlest things and then ask God, like, what do you want me to do today? You know, and I think that he's so amazing in how he works. If you trust and if you just ask him simple questions, you know, like I was going into the grocery store one day and I just had this feeling of something to come. And as I was walking into the grocery store, I was like, God, if there's somebody in here that I need to talk to, make it obvious and guide the conversation. And I ended up seeing this girl that she waitresses at our local tavern. And I think she's stunning. But you would never, like, if you put me in my like Talbot's outfit next to her, you would be like, they're friends? Because she has like huge holes in her ears, neck tattoos, nose piercings, like, you know, fun hair colors and, you know, like all the things. And I saw her and I was like, is that who I'm supposed to talk to? Because I don't really know her. You know, like she knows me more through my husband because he goes to the tavern. And so anyway, I saw her and then I didn't see her and then I saw her again. And then, and I wasn't going out of my way to like. You
were following her? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I was just
no stalking.
I was just about my business. And
just
then
kidding.
then I turned down to an aisle and she came the other way and it was like, boom. And I was like, I guess this is the one I'm supposed to talk to. So I'm like, and I don't even really know if she knows me. Like, I was like, I'm not totally sure if she knows who I am. I had the mask on and I was like, hey, and she knew me right away. We started talking and she's getting a business going too. Like it's all these like business women, but she's doing like personal training, all this kind of stuff. And we ended up having the best conversation. And I felt so good because I could pump her up. Like, you guys know me. Like, that's my superpower is like, you want to be pumped up and cheered for, I'm your girl. Like, if you want me to tell you how awesome you are, I'm your girl. And so I felt like that's what I could bring to her in the grocery store that day. And she left and she's like, I'm just so glad I ran into you. And I was like, yep.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
I like prioritize my day and just learn to listen for the answers. And the more you do that, the more you're going to really be able to discern what is his will for your life. And I could talk all day on the will of God, like, because I just think that, in fact, I had another conversation today about the will of God with somebody else, pumped her all up. I was all excited to leave there. And, but I said, you know, he's only going to show you the next little glimmer, because if he showed you the big picture that he has for your life and how glorious it could be, you would be so overwhelmed you wouldn't move, because his will for your life is all good. So he gives you little glimmers, next step, baby step. What do you want me to do today, God? Do you want me to post something? Do you want me to do this podcast topic? What do you want to what should I talk about on my podcast today, God? You know, little things. He cares about all that stuff. Before I go into anything like this, I pray. Before I had a new client call today on the telephone, before I spoke to her on the phone, God, help me, you know, say the right things, guide our conversation. Tina has a very physical job where she's changing, or not Tina, Lori has a physical job where she's physically healing people, you know, like that's prayer in action. You know, God, show me where this person is hurting, where I can physically heal them, you know? So just keep asking multiple times a day. What do you want me to do, God? What do you want me to do right now? And say it out loud, because that's even stronger, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So that's all I really wanted. I know there's others on that sheet for you guys, but that's all I really wanted to cover today, so I didn't overwhelm you. And then in the real course, Pruning to Prosper, we would move in now to the one-to-one coaching. I want to be respectful of your time, so I think we will not do that, if that's okay. But again, this is not a topic that's covered in the course, so I wouldn't have gone on this long. we would have cut it off at half an hour, and then we do the one-to-one. So yeah,
it's great.
so I'm gonna stop this recording here.